Give it up for our friend, Mr. Ben Levine.
Hi everybody, I'm Ben. My story today starts about 2 years ago when my wife Zoe was diagnosed with stage 4 colorectal cancer. Now I'm going to zoom ahead here real quick to say that she's okay, we're all okay. After about 15 months of really horrifying treatment, she was declared cancer-free and, knock on wood, has remained so ever since. Which of course is not to say that we got away scot-free. Those were a couple hard, harrowing years. We lost a lot during that time. One thing that I lost that I wanted to talk about today is the kind of default, unexamined sense of certainty in the future, and that general feeling of personal safety and continuity in our lives that I didn't even realize undergirds everything until it was gone. And not only was it gone, but it never actually existed to begin with. But what came in its place was a kind of gift. This obligation to reckon with the fragility and finitude of the time that we have together. And what do you do with that? So I started taking seriously the obligation to be conscientious and deliberate about how I was spending my time, and because I spend a lot of time at my job, how I relate to and understand my time at work. When Zoe started treatment, I started cooking almost all the meals for our family. And because it was important to me to have a home where the kitchen was warm, where you could smell bread baking, where chicken was roasting, where life was being sustained from within rather than being imported via takeout boxes. And the conviction for that came from a book that I had read called The Everlasting Meal by Tamar Adler. This quote is from the introduction and kind of encapsulates where that comes from. And in time, I came to understand the relationship between time and my creative work in a similar sort of way, which is to say that time was not an obstacle that I had to overcome in order to reach some kind of creative solution. It was actually the method by which it would be discovered and nurtured. So what does that actually mean? For me, it meant that I no longer beat myself up when I didn't nail something on the first try. And in fact, there is no such thing as nailing something on the first try. I made peace with the fact that good work just takes time. And through the process of revision, where we apply our attention and our care, our curiosity and our craft, that we urge those first attempts to higher ground. And really, is there any better use of our time in the workday than on an act of love and progress? The other thing I did was really start leaning into the kinds of incremental, cumulative tasks that I used to neglect when I started feeling busy or pressured at work. I started working clean. All due respect to the creative flow people, but I preferred building my templates as I go, defining styles, making swatches, snapping stuff to the grid, being deliberate about naming and organizing my files. I started taking lots and lots of notes and writing lots of README files because I didn't want to have to figure something out or learn something more than once. And I started doing my timesheets every day because you can't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. Just a quick little thought experiment here. You're in a crit or a client presentation and someone says to you, "Great work." It's easy enough to say back to them, "Thanks, I worked really hard on it," right? Feels fine, easy enough. Let's try it this way. "Great work. Thanks, I worked on it for a really long time." Feels a little icky, right? But why is that? I think there are a lot of reasons for that. But one is that I think we believe that it kind of diminishes the work in some way, because we believe that really, like, anybody can do great work if they spend enough time on it. But let's go ahead and say that again and own it for just a second. Anybody can do great work if they spend enough time on it. Niels Bohr said that the opposite of a great truth is also true. And I think about that a lot. That a tragedy can be a blessing, that a loss can be a gift, that time is not only this fragile, precious, fleeting thing, but is also an incredible, powerful resource to be wielded in the service of the things that matter. So when Monday comes, and it feels like Mondays do, I'll still take a moment to appreciate my kids' voices while they're chattering at the breakfast table. I will cut myself some slack if a project's taking a little longer than I want. I will do my timesheets. I will maybe invest an extra hour in something that I care about after the kids are in bed. And I will stop at some point for just a moment to be here now, and both in spite of what I've lost and because of what we've lost, say a quick word of thanks for this and every day. Thank you.
Wow. Nice job, man.